Good evening to all of you. Am I audible? Very good afternoon. Okay. So we are going to continue this topic here, Italy, right? We started that discussion in the last class, and we discussed about the background of Italy, and right. So basically, we were discussing. Let's take the help of PPT to understand the map. Okay. So this is the topic that we were discussing: unification of Italy, right? So here, this is the map of Italy that I discussed with you in the last class. Okay, and this is the political map of Italy in which year 1815, right? And 1815 is known for Vienna Convention. It is known for Vienna Convention. We already have discussed it, that 1815 is known for Vienna Convention, right? It's known for Vienna Convention, and in last class we discussed that in Vienna Convention, uh, these territories, these smaller territories, were divided and distributed among the European powers. They are basically the powerful monarchs of Europe. And in last class we have discussed that Lombardy plus Venetia, it was given to the rulers of Austria, right? Austria was the symbol of conservatism at that time, right? Parma, Modena and Tuscany, these three smaller states, Parma, Modena and Tuscany, these three smaller states were given to the uh, uh, Habsburg dynasty ruler, right? Habsburg dynasty rulers, this we have discussed, okay? And then this papal states was given to Pope. It means in papal states, Pope was the political authority as well as the religious authority, okay? Now these two states, Sardinia and Piedmont, right? The both of them will be taken together, S plus P. Sardinia, Piedmont were the Italian states, right? They were the Italian states, okay? They were ruled by a monarch. They were ruled by a monarch. They were the Italian states. They were ruled by a monarch, okay? And the last one is what? All this we have discussed: Lombardy, Venetia, Papal States, Parma, Modena, Tuscany, Kingdom of Two Sicilies. This also we have discussed. This yellow color territories, these were given to Kingdom of Two Sicilies. किसको दिया गया? Right? Bourbon dynasty ruler. The same dynasty was ruling in France also. Bourbon dynasty rulers. But the things will change after 1815. What will happen after 1815? So whatever is happening in France, whatever events that will happen in France, it will have an effect on the developments in the entire Europe. And this is happening here, right? In France, what will happen? We have already discussed this in class, that what happened between this period 1815 and 1830. First, what happened? Constitutional monarchy come, and gradually this constitutional monarchy was, okay, converted to an absolute monarchical setup, and the people will start opposing it. Why the people will start opposing it? Because the people were not happy with the ancient regime. They were already familiar with the modern regime, and they were opposing. And all these ideas, okay, that the people are not supporting absolute monarchism, right? The people are demanding for the progressive ideals to be implemented in the system and practices of governance. All these demands were getting popularity, okay? And now these messages were reaching to the people of Italy also. Now what the Italian people will think here? Now the Italian people, okay, it means that for Metternich, if you will ask about Metternich, about these territories, so for Metternich, these territories were mere geographical expressions. These territories were mere geographical expressions. They were not more than that. Metternich इसको कोई कंट्री नहीं समझता था, कोई नेशन नहीं समझता था, इसको केवल क्या समझता था? Geographical expressions. The same like British thought about India in 18th century. When East India came, when the British came in India, they thought that India is mere geographical expression. British thought that Indian people don't have any feeling or sense of nationalism. right? Here what is happening? Austria and Prussia, the powerful monarchs are thinking that these people don't have any feeling of nationalism, but gradually this nationalism was growing or emerging, and this nationalism was growing or emerging during all these phases. For example, 1815 to 1830, what we see here are two, and Revolution 2 is an expression of the dissatisfaction of the people of France, that they are demanding for the modern ideas to be introduced. And the same happened here. R3 took place in the year 1848. And the people of Italy now are becoming familiar with these revolutions. They are already familiar with the progressive ideas, okay, of age of enlightenment. Now, this Italian peninsula is what? It is divided, it is fragmented. What we see that this Italian peninsula is divided and fragmented. ये challenge problem है, लोग इस बात को समझ रहे हैं that the Italian peninsula is divided and fragmented into many states, and this is not only divided and fragmented, it's also in the control of foreign powers. This like foreign subjugation, ठीक है, ये गुलामी की तरह है. So these territories are also in the control of foreign powers. Okay, it means they are subjugated. They are subjugated, right? Under the powerful monarchs of Europe. They are under control of powerful monarchs of Europe. Now, what we see here that these are different states. There are so many states here, and these different states have one similarity. And what is the similarity? All these states have what? Common cultural roots. All these states have common cultural roots. All these states have what? Common ethnic ties. All these states have what? Common ethnic ties. There are customs, common customs and beliefs they are sharing are also same. The languages which they are speaking are also the same. So the literature in vernacular languages which they will compose, obviously in the poetry, in the literature, what will happen? The expression of this dissatisfaction can be seen, right? And through this poetry, through this literature, where the expression of this dissatisfaction can be seen, what will happen? Ultimately, a kind of sense of oneness will be promoted in the minds of these people, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, Napoleon had done what? Napoleon had promoted the progressive ideals of revolution. We already have discussed it. By his military conquest also he had promoted, right, this progressive ideals of revolution, unification under Napoleon and all this. Okay, now the next important point here is that I am just giving some concepts and you will keep writing, because whatever I am discussing here, the same common points we are going to use in Germany also, right? So we will try to read these topics with some common points here. Now I am just discussing a basic concept here, that some of the Italian territories were the part of French Empire. Some of the Italian territories, when Napoleon was ruling, okay, that was the extended territory or boundaries of France. Extended territories and boundaries of France. ओके देखो आपके यूपीएससी सिलेबस में एक टॉपिक मेंशन है, ग्रोथ ऑफ नेशनलिज्म इन यूरोप. बेसिकली वी आर रीडिंग दैट टॉपिक, हम उसी टॉपिक को पढ़ रहे हैं, बट द इवेंट इज व्हाट? यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली. वी आर ट्राइंग टू लर्न दैट कॉन्सेप्ट, ठीक है? So some of the territories of Italy were what? Part of extended territorial boundary of France. They were the part of extended territorial boundaries of France. Extended territorial boundaries of France. We all know this. It's a very simple concept. Now, when Napoleon is ruling and they are the part of extended territorial boundary of France, so Napoleon claimed to promote what? Progressive ideals of revolution. We all know this. That Napoleon claimed to promote, Napoleon here claimed to promote what? So he claimed to promote progressive ideals of revolution, right? He claimed to promote progressive ideals of revolution, right? Napoleon is claiming to promote what? Progressive ideals of revolution. Okay. So during the time of Napoleon, what will happen? What will be promoted here? Feudalism will be promoted or meritocracy will be promoted? Now I am asking you a very simple question. What will be promoted? Meritocracy will be promoted. Feudalism में बताओ क्या एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसेज सबके लिए हो सकती है क्या? नहीं. They will be reserved for the sons and daughters of the feudal lords. So what will be promoted here? Meritocracy will be promoted. Which idea will be promoted here? So we can say that equality before law. This will be promoted here. Equality before law will be promoted here. Okay. When Napoleon will bring Napoleon Code, what will happen? Property rights. ठीक है, ये इससे भी लोग familiar होंगे. The people will be familiar with the property rights also. A kind of culture of religious tolerance will be promoted. Why I am saying that a kind of culture of religious tolerance was promoted? Because when Napoleon was ruling, what happened? State and religion दोनों को क्या किया उसने? Separate किया. Now the religion was not dominating state, so that is one of the most important thing. And a kind of modern education was also given to the people. Modern education was also given to the people, right? This all was done. Okay, it means progressive ideas were promoted. Now, okay, what other things happened here? Since all these were the part of extended territorial boundaries of France, so we can say that Napoleon also consolidated all these territories. Napoleon also consolidated all these territories into a single unit. All these territories into a single unit. Okay? And this will do what? Okay? This will help in the promotion of trade and commerce also. We all know this, that this will also help in the promotion of trade and commerce. Okay? A kind of free trade was promoted here. Okay? And this all inspired and motivated, okay, the people of Italy. They develop a sense of understanding, the sense of oneness, and it will help in the what? It will help in the process of unification of Italy. It means in the minds of people who are living in Italy, okay, what is being promoted here? Nationalism. And that is what? Italian nationalism. What is happening? Growth of nationalism. For example, when you read Indian history, you will find that आपको relate भी करना है. When you read Indian history, you will find that 1885 is the year when Indian National Congress was formed. पता होगा आपको, ठीक है? And Indian National Congress did what? It was the first pan-India political platform, and it did what? It consolidated the national feelings and sentiments of the people. Before this, there were regional political associations. Okay, the people, तो नेशनल पार्टी क्या करेगी? कंसोलिडेट करेगी फीलिंग्स एंड सेंटिमेंट्स को. एंड दिस इज द सेम टाइम दैट इन यूरोप आल्सो व्हाट वी सी growth of nationalism. Clear? Now we are discussing the topic of Italy. So if I say that, okay, in the process Italian nationalism, if we talk about this Italian nationalism, if we talk about this, so which factors are responsible for the growth of Italian nationalism? कौन से factors responsible है? Can you tell me the points? Which factors are responsible for the growth of Italian nationalism? Now you can easily, okay, to relate some points. For example, before this process, देखो क्या होता है. सबसे पहले क्या है? Progressive ideals of Renaissance and Age of Enlightenment. I am repeating these things again and again because there is so much repetition in world history. If you learn the core idea, you will find that the same idea you will have to apply again and again. So progressive ideals of revolution, Renaissance and Age of Enlightenment, right? And what about this American War of Independence? It will inspire or motivate or not? Yes or no? American War of Independence 1775 to 1782. Obviously, it will inspire and motivate. Because here in War of Independence, what we see? Progressive ideas. The people are fighting for their what? Independence. America was a British colony. Okay? Colony. It means there was presence of foreign power in America. American economy was subjugated. Okay? So the people opposed, the people supported and favored progressive ideas. The third important point is what? French Revolution 1789. Okay, only 1789 or all these three, R1, R2 and R3? Exactly. All these three. Okay, all these three will contribute in the growth of nationalism in the minds of people of Italy. Okay. Now, Napoleon's effort, Napoleon's administrative reforms, Napoleon's military conquest. Yes, military conquest से क्या किया था? Consolidate किया था, single unit बनाया था. तो we can also say that the role of Napoleon. This is also important. And here you can write 2 points here. The military conquests of Napoleon, because it did what? Consolidation. इसने क्या किया? Consolidation in a single unit, and this was helpful. Okay, consolidation in a single unit. The cultural barriers were removed, custom barriers were removed, so this was like consolidation in the single unit. ठीक है. और दूसरा क्या है? Napoleon's reforms in the form of code of Napoleon, जो कब आया? 1804. Napoleon's reforms in the form of code of Napoleon. And what is the third point? Napoleon was claiming to promote what? Modern ethos. Napoleon was claiming to fight with what? Ancient regime and conservative forces. So Napoleon himself was claiming to promote modern ethos, and he was also fighting with the conservatist forces. Clear? So all these developments will do what? Will enlighten the minds of, all these developments will do what? They will enlighten minds of Italian people. They will enlighten what? Minds of Italian people. Okay? Italian people. They will enlighten the minds of Italian people. Now, the next important thing, the regressive steps taken in Vienna Congress, is it also one factor? Nationalism का expression इससे भी तो आएगा. Regressive changes were introduced in Vienna Congress, so the people will become dissatisfied, and foreign rule was again reimposed. Okay, so that is also important point, that read this, regressive changes that were introduced in 1815 and reimposition of foreign rule, reimposition of foreign, regressive changes that were introduced in Vienna Congress and reimposition of foreign rule. Okay, foreign powers became dominant also. Again, it means reimposition of conservatism, reimposition of conservatism, reimposition of ancient regime, reimposition of ancient regime. So this all will have a reaction. Okay, and the reaction can be seen in the growth of nationalism in the minds of Italian people. This all is reaction. Okay, that is the most important thing. Now one more point that I have already discussed with you, that this will also play an important role in the growth of nationalism. And what is that? Read this, idea of free trade. Idea of free trade. Idea of free trade. This will also play a very important. And how you can relate the idea of free trade? So dekho, when Napoleon was ruling, what has happened? Napoleon conquered these smaller territories. They became part of a single unit. So what will happen? Custom barriers were removed. So what will happen? Trade and commerce will be more smooth. it will be less expensive, yahi hoga na? But what will happen when Napoleon will go? Napoleon will be defeated. These territories will again be divided and distributed among European powers. So batao, new custom barriers will come or not? Multiple custom barriers will come or not? And this will make trade and commerce more expensive. Okay? Delayed trade and expensive trade. Now the people will start thinking, ठीक है, कि कितना अच्छा होता कि ये सारे टेरिटरीज क्या हो जाते, यूनिफाइड हो जाते, तो ये प्रॉब्लम क्या हो जाएगी, खत्म हो जाएगी. तो ये भी तो एक फैक्टर है. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ काइंड ऑफ इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर, द आइडिया ऑफ फ्री ट्रेड, दैट द पीपल स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग दैट इफ all these smaller territories are unified, if all these smaller territories are unified, in that case what will happen, in that case custom barriers will be removed, in that case custom barriers will be removed, right? If all these territories are unified, in that case custom barriers will be removed, trade barriers will be removed, custom barrier remove ho jayega, trade barriers will be removed, custom barriers will be removed, and what will happen, the trade and commerce will become more easy, smooth, less expensive, less expensive, and this will also bring the economic prosperity in this entire region. This will also bring the economic, okay, prosperity in this entire region. So all these are the factors that motivated or that developed the sense of nationalism, okay, in Italian people, in Italy, that is in Europe. So how nationalism is growing in Europe, this is one concept. In the case of Germany also we will discuss. So are you familiar with this concept? If I ask you to write that what are the factors, write about the factors that promoted, okay, nationalism in Italy, factors that promoted nationalism in Italy. Okay, you can easily write the answer, factors that promoted nationalism in Italy. These are the different factors. Okay, you can easily write 150 word, but the question will not be that much simple. Okay, the question of UPSC is integrated, that will require a holistic understanding of the entire theme. Now we have discussed one thing, that which factors, yes please, please ask. Okay, Ravi. Okay, now what I am saying here is that these factors helped or contributed, helped or contributed. Now the second approach we will discuss is that what are the hurdles or obstacles. The second factor is what are the hurdles or obstacles, hurdles or obstacles in the process of unification of Italy. What are the hurdles, okay, in the process of unification of Italy? Hurdles kya kya hai? What are the hurdles? Okay, can you suggest me some points? What are the hurdles? Pehla hurdle kya hai? Austria is a powerful state. Austria played most important role in Vienna Congress. Vienna Congress, all the changes that were made there is also known as Metternich system. Metternich system कहते हैं. So Austria is the main villain. Austria is the main hurdle. मेरी बात समझ गए? So main hurdle is Austria. Austria is the main hurdle because this Austria played an important role. Austria was mainly architect of Vienna Congress, Vienna session. Austria played the most important role. Most important role. So if you will demand that we want to unify these territories into a single nation, so this idea will go against the provision of Vienna Congress. So will Austria allow this? No. Nationalism and the birth of a new nation is a symbol of expression of nationalism, is a symbol of expression of progressive changes. But Vienna Congress did what? Introduce conservatism. So obviously Austria will be the main villain. So here main villain is Austria. Okay, conservatism in Europe will not like this progressive change to happen. absolute absolute monarchs of Europe will never like these progressive changes to be introduced in Italy, right? They will never like. They will try to stop. It means all these forces will try to stop progressive ideas, will try to stop progressivism, because once it will start, what will happen? It will be a future threat or the potential threat for these empires themselves. ये उनके लिए खतरा बन जाएगा, right? So that is the most important point. Now, which were the two core Italian states which were independent? पहले बता चुका हूँ. Who will lead the process of unification? Sardinia, Piedmont. Look at the map, you will find this. These are the two core Italian states. Clear? Sardinia, Piedmont is the state basically. And here the main villain is Austria. Austria is Gabbar Singh. ठीक है, इसको मान लो जय और इसको मान लो वीरू, दोनों मिलकर लड़ेंगे. ठीक है, गांव वालों को इकट्ठा करेंगे. ठीक है, Austria is the Gabbar Singh. Austria is the main villain in this process. And now the next and the most important hurdle is what? Okay, when we discuss the map, okay, I am coming to the map. Okay, so look at this map, we'll find, right, what you see here. Okay, in the central position there is the location of which state? Papal state. Look at the map here. In the central position there is the location of which state? Papal states. And Papal states is ruled by whom? Pope. And Pope was the religious head of the Catholics. So if you want to unify this entire territory into a single nation, you will have to unify Papal states also. You will have to control Papal states also. And when you will try to annex Papal state, okay, without this unification will be complete. ये बिल्कुल पाकिस्तान जैसा मामला हो जाएगा. आधा इधर ईस्टर्न पाकिस्तान हो गया. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? तो ऐसे तो यूनिफिकेशन होगा नहीं. This idea is not practical. ठीक है. So if you will like try to unify, so this is the main hurdle. This is the main hurdle, because without taking Papal states, the unification cannot be complete. And Papal states here, who is ruling this Papal state? Pope is ruling this Papal state. And Pope is the head of the Christians. You can say that religious head of the Catholic Church. So intervention in Papal state, when you will do intervene in Papal states, what will happen? This might be a possibility that Britain and France will come and intervene. They will not let this happen. Definitely France will come and intervene. So this was the main challenge, that without unifying Papal states, this could not be possible. Okay, so this was another hurdle. Right, this Papal states position, the central position of Papal states was another hurdle. Okay, central position of Papal states was another hurdle, because it could create many new challenges. Okay, it could create many new challenges. Central position of the Papal states was the new hurdle, because it could create many new challenges. Now you are familiar with which factors promoted the idea of unification of Italy. You are also familiar with the idea that what are the hurdles or obstacles in the process of unification of Italy. पूरा chapter खत्म होने के बाद I will discuss some common ideas, and what we need is the crux or the common ideas. ठीक है ना? After all these discussions, try to gather all sort of informations in a few words. That's how I can use it. Okay, now look at some other slides here. Okay, now you will learn about this. Okay, look here, look at this slide. What do you see? The process of unification of Italy, when it start, already it's in the minds of the Italian people. Okay, so the process started very early in the 1800 itself, right? In 1800, what was happening? The people of these Italian territories wanted a unified Italy. And what will happen? 1804, Napoleon will become the ruler. 1804 में क्या होता है? Who is the ruler? Napoleon is the ruler. And 1804 to 1814-15, this is what? Napoleon's era. And in this Napoleon's era, right, Italy is not unified. Italy का unification नहीं होता. Italy does not emerge as a single independent nation. But what happens? The territories of Italy became the part of extended territorial boundary of France. So they gained an experience. जैसे हम क्या करते हैं, कहते हैं ट्रायल चाहिए, डेमो क्लास चाहिए, तब मैं एडमिशन लूंगा. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? तो ये डेमो है. इटली के लोगों को वो डेमो मिल गया. When they became extended territorial boundary of a single unit, they came to know that इसके क्या फायदे हो सकते हैं. ठीक है? When we will be unified, what will happen? Our common culture will be promoted, languages will be promoted, vernacular will be promoted, trade and commerce will be promoted. So the people have already experienced it. But what happened? Regressive changes were made in this year 1815. Okay? Now, between this period 1850 to 1830, in 1830 there is what? R2, and 1848 there is R3. So whatever is happening in France, it is already influencing the events in Italy. वो इटली की घटनाओं को भी क्या कर रहा है? इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन 1830 R2 will take place in France. फ्रांस में क्या होगा? R2 होगा. बट द इम्पैक्ट कैन बी सीन ऑन अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ, राइट? R2 में what is the demand of people of France? In 1830, what is the demand of people of France? लोगों की डिमांड क्या होगी? Liberal constitution. The people will demand for what? Republics. The people will demand for self-determination. Self-determination about their rights, about their culture. These are the important demands. The people in France will demand that all discriminations must be ended. So they will demand that all discriminations must be ended. They will also demand that absolute monarchical setup also be ended. 1830 में लोग ये डिमांड कर रहे हैं. The same demand will reach to Italy, and now the people of Italy will also start making the same demand. इटली में भी यही सारी डिमांड आती हैं, and in Italy we see that in 1830 an organization is found. The name of this organization is Young Italy. What is the name of this organization? Young Italy. And the founder of this organization was Mazzini. Founder of this organization was Mazzini. And Mazzini does what? The same thing that was done by revolutionary activities in India. India में जो revolutionary activities थी, उनका objective क्या था? To uproot British rule from India. And here, this is a kind of secret revolutionary organization in Italy, Young Italy. And why it's named Young? Because here the focus was to ensure the association of youth in this organization. इस organization में किसको लाना था? Youth को लाना था. जैसे भगत सिंह किसको अट्रैक्ट कर रहे थे? Youth को कर रहे थे. मैज़नी किसको अट्रैक्ट कर रहा था? Youth को कर रहा था. The extremist leaders in Indian national movement were influenced by which personality? Mazzini. The extremist leaders in Indian national movement were influenced by which act? They were influenced by the process of unification of Italy and Germany, because they are the revolutionary activities. So here, Young Italy is a kind of what? Secret revolutionary organization in Italy. It was founded by Mazzini, and they were fighting for what? This organization is fighting for what? So this organization was fighting for unification of Italy. So this idea of unification of Italy is like the national movement or independence of Italy. This is the same. It's like the national movement and independence of Italy, and various revolutionary uprisings were also seen. Since this was a revolutionary organization, what we see is that various revolutionary uprisings were also seen. Okay, so that happened. So 1830 onwards, look at this sketch. What we see? Mazzini's Young Italy, right? It was fighting for unification of Italy. 1830 के बाद ही ये process चल रहा है. And what will happen? In France 1848 R3 will take place. और जैसे ही फ्रांस में R3 होगा, 1848 होगा, तो इटली में ये जो नेशनल मूवमेंट है ये और भी ज्यादा तेज हो जाएगा, रैपिड हो जाएगा. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? यानी कि अब आपको मैटरनी की बात समझ में आ रही है कि when France sneezes entire Europe catches cold, क्यों वो कह रहा था? Okay, so as soon as the outbreak of Revolution 3 R3 took place in France, what will happen? The tide of nationalism will grow in Italy also. Italy में क्या हो जाएगा? Tide of nationalism grow करेगा. And in this situation, what will happen? Okay, the ruler of, when the tide of nationalism will grow, so the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont, that was Victor Emmanuel II. The ruler of Sardinia Piedmont, and the name of this ruler was Victor Emmanuel II. ठीक है, मैं डिक्टेट भी करूंगा अभी सारी चीज़ों को, पहले ध्यान से सुनो. मेरा टारगेट नोट्स बनवाना केवल नहीं है, आपको लेक्चर याद हो जाए. दिस इज माय ऑब्जेक्टिव, दैट यू स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग, you start discussing. ठीक है, so what we see here that what will happen? The ruler of Sardinia Piedmont state याद आया? This was the single state. Okay, you can say that, which was, okay, this is the Sardinia Piedmont. This is Sardinia Piedmont. It was ruled by Victor Emmanuel II. यहाँ पे रूलर कौन है? विक्टर इमैनुअल. नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन? 1848 के बाद, R3 के बाद रिवॉल्यूशन कहाँ हो रहा है? फ्रांस में. टाइड ऑफ नेशनलिज्म कहाँ देखने को मिल रहा है? इटली में. ओके, जर्मनी में. आफ्टर दिस, the ruler who was a monarch here, he decided to support this process of unification of Italy. रूलर ने सोचा कि अब मैं इस प्रोसेस को सपोर्ट करूंगा. I will support the process of unification of Italy. Now I will ask you a simple question, that why the ruler supported the idea of unification of Italy? What could be the reason behind this? कुछ गेस करो. सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट का रूलर कह रहा है कि मैं यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली के प्रोसेस को सपोर्ट करूंगा. Why the ruler will support? कुछ सोचो, रिलेट करो. Exactly, this is the main idea. देखो, Sardinia and Piedmont, its political identity, its diplomatic identity, and its economic identity is not seen in entire Europe. But when unification will take place, and who is the leader? Sardinia Piedmont is the leader. तो जब यूनिफिकेशन होगा, इटली बनेगा, तो देखो, इटली मीन्स व्हाट? सार्डिनिया प्लस पीडमोंट प्लस पर्मा मॉडर्ना टस्कनी प्लस Lombardy, Venetia plus Papal States plus Kingdom of Two Sicilies. So what will happen? It will have a larger area. It will have a greater political unity. It will have a larger economic identity. It will have a larger diplomatic identity. And now this will have a specific identity, particular identity on the map of Europe. तो सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट के रूलर को ये लग रहा है कि भाई, अगर मैंने यूनिफिकेशन के प्रोसेस को सपोर्ट कर दिया, तो जो बर्थ ऑफ इटली होगा, दैट इज व्हाट? सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट प्लस मेनी अदर टेरिटरीज. ओके, सो इन दिस केस सार्डिनिया एंड पीडमोंट, इटली इज इक्वल टू व्हाट? सार्डिनिया प्लस पीडमोंट प्लस अदर टेरिटरीज. दिस विल हैव a greater diplomatic identity, greater economic identity. And Sardinia Piedmont was already, okay, a rich state. It was already, in comparison to these states, we are talking in comparative terms, it was already technological advanced state. It was rich state. It was already technological advanced state. Okay, it was also one form, you can say that, a modern state also, because the ruler, okay, will become agree to give some constitutional rights to the people. So the main development is seen after 1848. असली खेल कब से शुरू होता है? 1848 के बाद, when the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont decides that he will support the process of unification of Italy. कितने names आपने जाने? One is the Mazzini, one is the Victor Emmanuel II, and what will happen? Victor Emmanuel II will appoint a minister for this task. Which task? The task of unification of Italy. इसके लिए एक minister को appoint करेगा. And what is the name of that minister? The name of that minister is Cavour, Count de Cavour. Okay, so he will appoint a minister also. This is the name of the minister, Count de Cavour. And there is another person who is a revolutionary. The name is Garibaldi. Okay, Garibaldi. So there are four persons Garibaldi, Cavour, Victor Emmanuel too, right, and Mazzini. These are the four most important personalities in the process of unification of Italy. Okay, for example, look at this image. Okay, what you see, these four persons. Okay, these are what, four most important persons for this process of unification of Italy. Okay, on the left you see this is Mazzini. This is Mazzini. About him we have soon discussed that he was the founder of what, Young Italy. Mazzini was the founder of Young Italy. He was a revolutionary. He was promoting revolutionary ideas. Okay, now the second person here. Okay, this is what, this is Victor Emmanuel too. He was the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont state. So Victor Emmanuel too was the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont state. Now this person, right, this is Cavour. He was the minister. Who appointed this minister? Victor Emmanuel too appointed this minister. Why he was appointed? He was appointed to complete a special task. He was appointed to complete the task of process of unification of Italy. Now this person, okay, is what? This is Garibaldi, right? So this person is Garibaldi, right? So we have discussed all these. Now let's discuss some more informations here. कुछ और informations देखते हैं, then I will enter the topic. Okay, so I have discussed about four personalities here. Okay, now let's discuss some important facts and informations about these personalities. Then I will enter into the topic. Okay, now Mazzini. Look at here. Look at this slide. Mazzini did what? Mazzini organized a new political society. And what was the name of this new political society? I have already discussed with you. The name of this new political society was Young Italy, right? It was a secret society. Obviously, if it is secret, it means its nature is what? It is revolutionary in nature. For example, in India, HRA, Hindustan Republican Association, HSRA, all these were what? Anushilan Samiti, all these were what? Secret organizations. So in the same way, this was also a secret organization. What was the objective? Okay, so the objective was to promote Italian unification. It means these secret revolutionary organizations were doing what? They were trying to promote Italian unification. Okay, what they wanted? So one means unified, free, independent and republican nation. Look here, this is what the expression of modern thought. They are saying what? Republican nation. It means here the demand is what? To set up or to bring a new political system. That system must be a republic. When republic will come? When you will uproot the monarchical setups. जब आप monarchical setups को uproot करोगे तभी तो रिपब्लिक आएगा, right? Here what has been written? Independent. Why it has been written independent? Because different areas or different territories of Italy were in the control of different powerful monarchs of Europe. They were subjugated. Now they want what? Independent, free. And that's why I say, and one means what? Unified. That's why I say that when we talk about the process of unification of Italy, it is basically freedom movement for the people of Italy. ये लोगों के लिए क्या है? Freedom movement. Now, what is the belief of Mazzini? Mazzini believed that a popular uprising would create a unified Italy. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? Like the revolutionaries. Revolutionaries in Indian national movement were taking inspiration from Mazzini. उनको भी लगता था कि एक जबरदस्त वाला रिवॉल्यूशन करने की जरूरत है और एक झटके में अंग्रेजों को हिंदुस्तान से बाहर भगा देंगे. This was the belief of Mazzini, that we need a revolution, a popular revolution, and we will be able to keep all the foreigner groups out from Italy. उन सबको बाहर खदेड़ देंगे, and this will create a unified Italy and would touch off European wide revolutionary movement. It means he is also talking about a wide revolutionary movement. And why I am using the word wide revolutionary movement? Because this revolutionary movement is not only confined in Italy, the same is happening in Germany also. The same is happening in other parts of Europe, in smaller territories, smaller countries and nations also. But जो सबसे important है उसके बारे में हम पढ़ रहे हैं. We are reading about that. Okay. Now what about Victor Emmanuel? Okay. So I have already discussed with you that Victor Emmanuel was the king of Sardinia. When we are saying Sardinia, we will keep these two words together, that is Sardinia plus Piedmont. So he was the ruler of Sardinia, right? And what has been written here, देखो, he was the ruler till 1878, ठीक है, 1878 1878 तक वो रूलर रहा है, ठीक है. इसका एक अलग कॉन्टेक्स्ट है समझने का, राइट. इसका मतलब ही वॉज द रूलर ऑफ द फर्स्ट यूनिफाइड इटली. इटली का यूनिफिकेशन कब हो रहा है? 1871 में ही इसका यूनिफिकेशन कंप्लीट हुआ, राइट. So this is the ruler Victor Emmanuel II who supported what? The idea of process of unification of Italy. ठीक है. इसके बाद आ जाओ. This ruler appointed whom? Cavour. This is the person, okay, as the prime minister in which year? 1852. And Cavour is known for his diplomatic outlook. हमेशा याद रखना, हिस्ट्री में बिस्मार्क जर्मनी में और कावूर इटली में किस लिए जाने जाते हैं? डिप्लोमेसी के लिए. तो जब भी आप डिप्लोमेसी पढ़ोगे तो इन दोनों के बारे में जिक्र जरूर होता है. तो कावूर, ही वाज अपॉइंटेड एज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर इन विच ईयर? 1850. ओके. हिज फॉरेन पॉलिसी एजेंडा involved cementing Italy's identity and its presence in the concert of nation. यानी कि अभी तो प्रोसेस ऑफ यूनिफिकेशन चल ही रहा था, उसमें कावूर ने जो डिप्लोमेसी करी, दैट डिप्लोमेसी इज आल्सो नोन एज रियल पॉलिटिक. उसी डिप्लोमेसी को हम किस नाम से जानते हैं? रियल पॉलिटिक के नाम से भी जानते हैं. एंड दैट डिप्लोमेसी प्लेड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. दैट डिप्लोमेसी वाज हेल्पफुल इन कंप्लीटिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली. यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली को कंप्लीट करने में उस डिप्लोमेसी का भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल रहा है. नाउ अगेन सम इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशंस अबाउट कावूर. दैट कावूर वाज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट. ओके, ही वाज गिवन दिस टास्क टू लेड द मूवमेंट टू यूनिफाई द रीजन्स ऑफ इटली. एंड व्हाट हैज बीन रिटन हियर, दैट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, ही वाज नीदर अ रिवॉल्यूशनरी nor a democrat, but assisted Mazzini and Garibaldi of Italy. The same happened in Italy, in India also. There were different streams, there were different ideas who were supporting idea of independence, who were supporting freedom movement. देखो, freedom movement में क्या था? One is Indian National Congress, the other are the revolutionaries, the third group is the socialist, fourth group is the communist. There are so many groups, so many ideologies, but ultimately what they were doing, okay, they were fighting for the common cause. So this is seen in almost all the countries and the independence movement of all the countries, that there are different ideologies, they may have different objectives also, they may suggest different models to be implemented, but ultimately they are fighting for the same cause. जैसे भगत सिंह, ideology was what? Socialism, right? Nehru was inclined towards socialism. Subhash Chandra Bose was inclined towards socialism. Gandhi had a different philosophy. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? बट उन सबको मिला के ही तो चलता ना किसी देश का आंदोलन. तो वही चीजें हैं कि कावूर was supporting Mazzini and Garibaldi. He is known for his careful diplomatic approach, which diplomacy I will discuss later. Okay, and he died in 1861. 1861 में ही इसकी डेथ हो गई थी. Means he could not see the complete process of unification of Italy. 1852 to 1861 Cavour was there, but he could not see the complete process of unification of Italy. But still what he did helped a lot in completing the task of process of unification of Italy. उसने जो कुछ भी किया उसने इटली के यूनिफिकेशन के टास्क को कंप्लीट करने में बहुत ही हेल्प करी. ओके, so now these are the important points. Now let's look at here again some ideas. Then I will enter into the topic. Unification of Italy. Okay, what is the main, you can say that, thrust or the idea that supported this process of unification of Italy? जो चीज सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है वो क्या है? Nationalism. It supported the process of unification of Italy. And what is nationalism? So nationalism in Europe is associated with the birth of a nation state. Concept देखो आ रहा है. Nationalism in Europe is associated with the birth of nation state. Now what has been written here, that in some countries nationalism contributed, in some countries nationalism did what? Nationalism contributed to the formation of a state through the union of autonomous territories sharing a common culture like in Germany or in Italy. Are you understanding the context here? समझ पा रहे हो context को? Read it again. Okay, this is very important. We need to understand this. What has been written here? Look here. Formation of a state. Formation of a state through what? Union of autonomous territories sharing a common culture like in Germany or in Italy. तो अब आप तो इटली का एग्जांपल जानते ही हो, लाइक सार्डिनिया, पीडमोंट, ओके, लोम्बार्डी, विनिशिया, परमा, मोडेना, टस्कनी, पेपल स्टेट्स, किंगडम ऑफ टू सिसिलीज, दे ऑल वेयर शेयरिंग व्हाट? कॉमन कल्चर. बट क्या वो एक नेशन था? नहीं. तो आइडिया क्या था कि ऐसे जो क्या फ्रेगमेंटेड टेरिटरीज हैं, इन सबको क्या कर दो? यूनिफाई कर दो एंड मेक इट अन इंडिपेंडेंट नेशन. इनको एक इंडिपेंडेंट नेशन बना दो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हेन दिस ऑल विल बी यूनिफाइड, दिस विल बिकम इटली एंड दिस इज द आइडिया ऑफ नेशन स्टेट. यही नेशन स्टेट का आइडिया है. तो ये वो टाइम था जब यूरोप में क्या हो रहा था? बर्थ ऑफ नेशन स्टेट्स. ठीक है, इटली, Germany is the example. The rise of nationalism in Europe was stimulated by what? French Revolution. I have already discussed with you that French Revolution will stimulate the idea of revolution. R1, R2, R3. What has been written here? Napoleonic wars have also stimulated what? Growth of nationalism in Europe. नेपोलियन ने जो वॉर्स लड़े, जो मिलिट्री विक्ट्रीज करी, उसने भी यूरोप में नेशनलिज्म के ग्रोथ को क्या किया? प्रमोट किया. उसका भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है. दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. एंड व्हाट इज नेशनलिज्म हियर? सो नेशनलिज्म वाज द आइडियोलॉजिकल impetus that in a few decades will transform the entire Europe. And how you will explain this, I will discuss later. That what is the impact of birth of these two nations? What is the impact of change of political boundaries? क्या होता है impact? New imperialism will come. पहले क्या था? Imperialism. फिर क्या आ जाएगा? New imperialism. Right? Fight for colonies, colonial rivalry will increase, and this will be one reason for the outbreak of फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर. मेरी बात समझ गए? तो यहाँ पे जो बर्थ ऑफ नेशन स्टेट से इसका आगे चल के बड़ा ही इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सिक्वेंस होने वाला है. दिस विल ट्रांसफॉर्म द इंटायर यूरोप. पूरे यूरोप को ये ट्रांसफॉर्म करके रख देगा. दैट इज द आइडिया. Basically, you will, when you will learn later, you will be able to relate this. Now, next point: rule by monarchies and foreign control of territory. मेरी बात समझ गए? Rule by monarchy and foreign control of territory. Take the example of Italy. I have already discussed with you. Now it will be replaced by what? Self-determination and newly formed national governments. Self-determination, it means foreign rule will be uprooted. Italy में क्या होगा? Bourbon dynasty rule, Habsburg dynasty rule, Austrian rulers rule will be ended, and the people will get their right of self determination will be acknowledged. क्या है self determination? मतलब हमें हमारे जीवन के बारे में निर्णय लेने का पूरा अधिकार है. Self determination. We are the person who are responsible for determining about our future. ठीक है? About our culture. ठीक है? तो सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन का आइडिया प्रमोट होगा. एंड व्हाट अबाउट इंडियन नेशनल मूवमेंट? व्हाट अबाउट होम रूल लीग मूवमेंट? व्हाट अबाउट द आइडिया ऑफ स्वराज? स्वराज मीन्स व्हाट? सेल्फ रूल. द एक्सप्रेशन वाज सीन इन इंडियन नेशनल मूवमेंट आल्सो. व्हेन वी इंडियंस वर डिमांडिंग फॉर स्वराज, it means self rule under British rule. It means we will acknowledge the presence of British power, but at the same time, what we demand? We will decide, we will participate in administrative activities, we will handle all tasks of administration. That is Swaraj. What is dominion status? Again the expression of the same thing, self determination. In First World War, US will do what? US will emphasize. When US will participate in First World War, US will say that the right of self determination must be granted in the colonies. तो यूरोप में यहाँ जो नेशनलिज्म के दौर में जो डिमांड हो रहा है सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन का, यह आइडिया कॉलोनीज तक भी पहुंचेगा. और कॉलोनीज भी जब अपनी नेशनल मूवमेंट के लिए फाइट करेंगी तो उन कॉलोनीज में ये डिमांड सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट डिमांड हो जाएगी, डिमांड ऑफ सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन। वही चीज कहां देखी गई थी? होम रूल लीग मूवमेंट इन इंडिया। इंडिया में होम रूल लीग मूवमेंट में भी we see the expression of the same thing. Now example is given here. Some countries like Germany, some countries like Italy are formed by uniting various regional states with a common national identity. जैसे इंडिया में भी क्या था? ब्रिटिश 18th सेंचुरी को क्या मानते थे? डार्क एजेस। ब्रिटिश were considering that India is not a nation. इंडिया इज सम ऑफ जोग्राफिकल टेरिटरीज, केवल जोग्राफिकल टेरिटरीज है। द सेम हियर वाज कंसीडर्ड अबाउट इटली, दैट इटली इज मेयर जोग्राफिकल एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ द टेरिटरीज। इटली के बारे में भी यही कहा जाता। नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, नेशनल अवेकनिंग ऑल्सो ग्रीव आउट ऑफ एन इंटेलेक्चुअल रिएक्शन to the enlightenment that emphasized national identity and developed an authentic view of cultural self-expression through nationhood. All these developments were taking place in Europe. French Revolution, it was a republican revolution. It initiated a movement towards the modern nation state. So always remember, French Revolution is one of the most important event in 18th century. So if someone asks you that discuss two important events of 18th century, so one will be French Revolution, okay, and what are the consequences of the French Revolution? देख रहे हो कितना ज़्यादा impact है? Development of modern state, it has impact on the process of unification of Italy and Germany and all this. So French Revolution played a key role in the birth of nationalism across Europe, where radical intellectuals were influenced by Napoleon and the Napoleonic Code, the instrument for the political transformation of Europe. It means not only French Revolution, but the Napoleon Code, which was designed by Napoleon, it also proved as an important instrument for the political transformation of Europe. That is the point here. Now, the next fact here is what? In 1815, at the end of Napoleonic Wars, we all know this, 1814-15, Napoleon was defeated. What happened? Vienna Congress. So the major powers of Europe met at the Congress of Vienna in the year 1815. And they did what? And they tried to restore the old dynastic system. We already have discussed it. As far as possible, ignoring the principle of nationality. Why it has been written here, ignoring the principle of nationality? Because, okay, they did not care for the ethnic ties, common cultural beliefs, shared customs, practices, and beliefs of the people, and they divided and distributed these territories among themselves. आपस में territories को क्या किया? बांट लिया. This happened. Got it? So this is the entire development. Now I think that you can relate this topic, process of unification of Italy, with growth of nationalism in Europe also. इससे relate करके देख सकते हो. Simple idea. Okay. Now we are entering into the topic, that what will happen. Okay. Now you will write some points here. You will write R3. R3. R3 is in this year 1840. Okay. And R3 के बाद क्या होगा? Rapid, okay, of nationalism in Italy. Rapid growth of nationalism. After this, R3. It means Italian national movement will become more powerful. And here, after this, what will happen? The Sardinia Piedmont, the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont, who was King Victor Emmanuel II, King Victor Emmanuel II will decide that he will support the process of unification of Italy. The ruler of Sardinia Piedmont, Victor Emmanuel II, will decide that he will support the process of unification of Italy. So he will decide here that he will support the process of unification of Italy, right? Victor Emmanuel II will decide that he will support the process of unification of Italy. And this will change the entire scenario. This decision is very important. Decision of Victor Emmanuel II is very important because this will change the scenario. This will change the scenario completely. This will change the scenario completely, right? Now what will happen? This ruler Victor Emmanuel II will appoint, this ruler Victor Emmanuel II will appoint Cavour minister for this purpose. Okay, so he was given a special task. Okay, he was given a special task, and he was a very diplomatic person. He was a very diplomatic statesman, and he was given a special task, and this task was the task of completing process of unification of Italy. He was given this special task, the task of completing process of unification of Italy. काम धंधा मिल गया इसको 1852 से, and he was very smart. Now, what is the diplomatic outlook of Cavour? This we need to understand. Now I will discuss with you that how Cavour completed this task. So Cavour, what is his diplomatic outlook? What is his diplomatic outlook? We need to understand. It is very simple. Now Cavour says that who is leading this process? So Sardinia Piedmont is leading this process. ये है जय और दूसरा क्या है? वीरू. ठीक है, और लड़ना किससे है भाई बताओ? ऑस्ट्रिया. ऑस्ट्रिया वॉज द सिंबल ऑफ कंजर्वेटिज्म एट दैट टाइम. ऑस्ट्रिया कौन है? गब्बर सिंह. तो बताओ क्या अकेले जय वीरू जीत पाएंगे कि गांव वालों का हेल्प चाहिए, इनको मदद चाहिए ना? So Cavour is very realistic. He says that it's true that Sardinia Piedmont is a prosperous state, but alone it is not able to challenge Austria. We cannot challenge Austria alone. It's not possible. When you compare the power and the strength of Austria and Sardinia Piedmont, Cavour says that we are weaker. हम क्या है? कमजोर हैं ऑस्ट्रिया से. Okay? Single-handedly, power and authority of Austria cannot be challenged. Single-handedly, power and authority of Austria cannot be challenged. This is the idea. Single-handedly, the power and authority of Austria cannot be challenged. ठीक है? So what needs to be done? अब यहीं पे डिप्लोमेसी होता है कि क्या किया जाना चाहिए. What needs to be done? क्या करने की जरूरत है आखिर? If we cannot single-handedly challenge, okay, Austria, so what needs to be done? Now, Cavour says that first we need to bring economic prosperity. We need to bring economic prosperity in Sardinia Piedmont. We need to bring economic prosperity in Sardinia Piedmont. सबसे पहले क्या करेंगे? इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी लेके आएंगे. अच्छा, जब आपके पास पैसा आएगा तो आप इससे क्या कर सकते हो? मिलिट्री एम्पावरमेंट कर सकते हो. तो फर्स्ट वी विल ब्रिंग इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी एंड देन व्हाट विल बी डन? मिलिट्री एम्पावरमेंट विल बी डन. Then military empowerment will be done. This is the step number 2. Step number 1, what? Economic prosperity. Step number 2, what? Military empowerment needs to be done. And then Cavour says that then also we will not be able to fight with Austria. इसके बाद भी ऑस्ट्रिया से नहीं लड़ पाएंगे. इसके बाद क्या चाहिए? The support of other foreign powers in this process. मेरी बात समझ गया? पहले पैसा रुपया कमाओ, अपने आप को पावरफुल बनाओ, देन डिप्लोमेटिक हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट, एक्टिव मिलिट्री हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट ऑफ द मेजर यूरोपियन पावर्स. उसके बाद जब हमें हेल्प और सपोर्ट मिलेगी, then we will be able to do this. So now the step number 3, write this. Then he writes that active military help and support, active military help and support of other major European powers against Austria is needed. This is the idea. This is the step 3rd. Active military help and support, okay, of other major European powers against Austria is needed. ठीक है? Active military help and support, okay, of other European powers, other major European powers against Austria is needed. तो पहला स्टेप क्या है? इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी लाना. कैसे इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी ला सकते हो? हाउ यू कैन ब्रिंग इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी? सो द आइडिया इज वेरी सिंपल. By promoting agriculture, by increasing agricultural production as well as productivity. ठीक है, agricultural production and productivity will be increased and this will bring economic prosperity. आएगा इससे economic prosperity या नहीं? आएगा ना? And what about physical infrastructure? If you will develop physical infrastructure like roads, rails and canals, will it bring economic prosperity? Yes. So right, the second stage is development of physical infrastructure. Development of physical infrastructure like roads, like railways, like canals, roads, railways and canals. Development of physical infrastructure like roads, like railways, like canals. Okay, then promotion of trade and commerce, will it bring economic prosperity? The answer is yes. Promotion of trade and commerce, promotion of trade and commerce. And this promotion of trade and commerce between whom? किसके बीच में? All those units, ठीक है, which will be unified in the form of Italy. ठीक है, जितना ज्यादा ट्रेड इंटरेक्शन बढ़ेगा, लोगों की जो डिजायर है यूनिफिकेशन की उतनी ज्यादा बढ़ती जाएगी. राइट, सो दिस इज द आइडिया दैट promoting trade and commerce between different units later which will be unified. And the next important point is promoting trade and commerce with other countries of Europe, other major countries of Europe. उनके साथ भी trade and commerce बढ़ाओ. For example, if you will have good trade relations with Britain, तो क्या ब्रिटेन आपके साथ झगड़ा करेगा कि आपकी हेल्प करेगा? ब्रिटेन का अप्रोच कैसा है पता है आपको? यू ऑल नो दिस. ओके, द आउटलुक ऑफ अ ट्रेडर, मर्चेंट, बिजनेसमैन. क्लियर? डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, चाइना और इंडिया के बीच में कई सारे प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, स्टैंड ऑफ्स और ये सारी चीजें, बट वो सारी चीजें शॉर्ट आउट हो जाती हैं. क्यों? व्हाट इज द रीजन? इकोनॉमिक इंटरडिपेंडेंस. मेरी बात समझ गए? तो कावूर ने ये बात उस समय सोची कि इफ इकोनॉमिक इंटरडिपेंडेंस बिटवीन दीज डिफरेंट यूनिट्स विल बी इंक्रीज्ड, if economic interdependence with other foreign powers will increase, so what will happen? Okay, we will get help and support of major European powers. And then what will happen? Now we are coming to the second state. What he will do? Military empowerment. It means Sardinia Piedmont will make its military powerful than before, comparatively powerful than before. पहले से क्या करेंगे? Powerful than before. So now the military is powerful. Now the third step, and this third step is very interesting. Write this, step number 3. Now the step number 3. What is the step number 3? Getting help and support. Getting help and support from, getting help and support from, okay, major powers of Europe. Major powers of Europe. Getting help and support from major powers of. And here what you need? Diplomacy. तो यहाँ पे diplomacy क्या है? This we need to understand. Diplomacy क्या है? So diplomacy number 1. What is the diplomacy number 1? That is very interesting. Okay. What Cavour will do? What is diplomacy number 1? Diplomacy number 1 क्या है? देखो. What do we see here? On one side there is a country that is France. France was a powerful country of Europe. मेरी बात समझ गया? And the other side there was a country. The name of the country is Austria. दूसरी तरफ कौन है? ऑस्ट्रिया. देखो बहुत आसान है डिप्लोमेसी को समझना. ठीक है, ऑस्ट्रिया. यहाँ पे डिप्लोमेसी कौन स्टेट कर रहा है? सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट. Why it's doing diplomacy? To complete the task of unification of Italy. इतनी सी बात है. Now France is one of the most powerful country in Europe. Austria is one of the most powerful country of Europe. और who is the villain for Sardinia Piedmont? गब्बर सिंह कौन है इसके लिए? सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट के लिए गब्बर सिंह कौन है? ऑस्ट्रिया. तो दुश्मन का दुश्मन क्या होता है? दोस्त होता है. तो फॉर सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट who is the villain? Villain is Austria. Who will be the natural friend? Natural friend कौन हो जाएगा इसका? Okay, France. And what Sardinia Piedmont will do? लड़ रहे हैं ये दोनों. Okay, here Napoleon III was the ruler. पूरा इवेंट जानने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो एक छोटी सी स्टोरी बताता हूँ जिससे आप समझ जाओगे। फ्रांस और ऑस्ट्रिया लड़ रहे हैं, सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट आ जाता है, कहता है फ्रांस भाई हमें तुम्हारी हेल्प करनी है। फ्रांस कहता है चलो घर जाओ यार, तुम्हारे हेल्प की मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि फ्रांस के कंपैरिजन में सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट क्या है, बहुत ही छोटा स्टेट है। एंड फ्रांस इज अलोन कैपेबल ऑफ हैंडलिंग ऑस्ट्रिया। ठीक है, जैसे मान लो कि आप दोनों में लड़ाई हो रही है, सपोज रोहित एंड रवि आर फाइटिंग विथ ईच अदर, ठीक है, एंड रोहित इज वेरी मच ओके, रोहित का फिजिकल स्ट्रेंथ ज़्यादा है, वो अकेले रवि को अगर हरा सकता है, और फिर मैं जाके रोहित को कहूँ कि रोहित मैं तुम्हारी हेल्प करने आया हूँ, तो व्हाट रोहित विल से, अरे सर घर जाओ यार, मैं देख लूंगा इसको अकेले। वही कहानी है, फ्रांस एंड ऑस्ट्रिया आर फाइटिंग एंड सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट इज ऑफरिंग हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट, कह रहा नहीं यार मैं तो तुम्हारी हेल्प करूंगा ही करूंगा, जबरदस्ती हेल्प करूंगा फ्रांस को। फ्रांस ने कहा यार देखो ज़्यादा दिमाग मत खराब करो, तुम अभी घर जाओ, तुम क्या चाहते हो, तुम मेरी हेल्प करने आओ, जब तुम्हें हेल्प की ज़रूरत होगी तो बताना, मैं तुम्हारी हेल्प कर दूंगा, मुझे तुम्हारी बात याद रहेगी, यू हैव कम हियर सपोर्ट एंड हेल्प France. So what Sardinia Piedmont is doing? Here Sardinia Piedmont offers help and support to France, offers help and support to France, and in this way he will gain the sympathy of France. He will gain the sympathy of France. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? In this way he will gain the sympathy of France. And France will promise Sardinia Piedmont of what? ऑफ फ्यूचर हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट अगेंस्ट ऑस्ट्रिया। फ्रांस ने कहा देखो बेटा, कभी भी तुमको ऑस्ट्रिया परेशान करे तो हमारे पास आना, ठीक है, हम देख लेंगे। तो ये होता है। नाउ सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट विल गेट सिंपैथी एंड फ्रांस विल प्रॉमिस फॉर व्हाट, फ्यूचर हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट, फ्यूचर हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट टू सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट। फ्रांस विल प्रॉमिस फ्यूचर हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट टू सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट। ठीक है, जैसे जब आप लोग स्कूल में रहोगे तो क्लास में, हर क्लास में कुछ बच्चे बहुत पावरफुल होते हैं, कुछ बच्चे बहुत वीक होते हैं, दुबले पतले से, लेकिन दिमाग के बहुत तेज होते हैं। तो जब उनको उनका दुश्मन लगता है बहुत पावरफुल है, खुद नहीं लड़ सकते, तो वो क्या करते हैं, किसी दूसरे मजबूत लड़के को ढूंढते हैं और उसको भड़का देते हैं उसके खिलाफ, फिर काम उनका हो जाता है। द सेम इज हैपनिंग हियर, राइट, वही चीज़ हो रही है। नाउ द सेकेंड डिप्लोमेसी, राइट, दिस डिप्लोमेसी नंबर 1, ठीक वैसे ही जैसे हीरो नंबर 1, कुली नंबर 1, so this is what diplomacy number 1 and this is diplomacy number 2. What happens, diplomacy number 2, there was a famous war in Europe that was known as Crimea war. ऑप्शनल वाले स्टूडेंट्स को डिटेल में पढ़ना है, आपको नहीं, आपको केवल इवेंट जानना है, क्रीमिया वॉर। एंड द मेन पार्टिसिपेंट्स इन दिस वॉर वेयर ऑन वन साइड ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस वेयर फाइटिंग एंड ऑन अदर साइड रशिया वाज फाइटिंग। दिस इज क्रीमिया वॉर। एक तरफ कौन है, ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस, और दूसरी तरफ कौन फाइट कर रहा है, रशिया। और कावूर बड़ा होशियार है, क्या करेगा ये पता ही है आपको, ओके, ही विल डू व्हाट, कावूर विल डू व्हाट, सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट मिनिस्टर कावूर, अगेन कावूर विल कम एंड विल से, भाई ब्रिटेन, भाई फ्रांस, हमें आपकी क्या करनी है, हेल्प करनी है, फिर पहुंच जाएगा हेल्प करने। फ्रांस कहेगा यार तुम फिर आ गए, बार बार पहुंच जाते हो हेल्प करने, ठीक है, एक बार बताया ना, अगर तुम्हें कोई प्रॉब्लम होगी तो हम तुम्हारी हेल्प करेंगे। ब्रिटेन ऑल्सो प्रोमिस्ड दैट यस वी विल डू व्हाट, वी विल हेल्प यू, सपोर्ट यू इन फ्यूचर। नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन, यहाँ पे देखो वो लड़ाई भी नहीं लड़ता है, क्या आता है, हेल्प करने का ऑफर लेके आता है। एंड व्हाट विल हैपन, ओके, ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस विल एश्योर सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट दैट दे विल गिव हिम हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट इन फ्यूचर। यहाँ फिर से प्रॉमिस कर दिया कि दे विल गिव हिम हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट इन फ्यूचर, हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट देंगे। अब बताओ, एश्योरेंस है सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट के पास, किसका किसका एश्योरेंस है, ब्रिटेन का एश्योरेंस है और फ्रांस का एश्योरेंस। मेरी बात समझ गया। नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन, ओके, नाउ डिप्लोमेसी नंबर 3 एंड दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। डिप्लोमेसी नंबर 3, व्हाट विल हैपन, नाउ सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट will provoke Austria for war, will provoke Austria for war। प्रोवोक का मतलब जानते हो, ऑस्ट्रिया काफी पावरफुल है, अब जाके कह रहा लड़के दिखा, तू के दिखा मुझे, ये वाला अप्रोच है। और क्या होगा, ऑस्ट्रिया कहेगा अच्छा इतना उछल रहे हो, अभी बताता हूं तुमको, What Sardinia Piedmont is doing? It's provoking Austria for war. ऑस्ट्रिया ने कहा यार इतनी हिम्मत कहाँ से आ गई इसको. It's just asking, giving challenge to ऑस्ट्रिया. ऑस्ट्रिया आगे पीछे नहीं सोचेगा, अटैक कर देगा सार्डिनिया पीडमॉन्ट. और जैसे ही ऑस्ट्रिया अटैक करेगा, इसने दोस्त बना रखे हैं. कौन दोस्त है? ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस. सो विल कम इन सपोर्ट ऑफ ऑस्ट्रिया. ठीक है, ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस. ठीक है, ब्रिटेन और फ्रांस ने ये गाना सुना था, जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा. तो वादा निभाने आ गए बेचारे. ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस केम इन सपोर्ट ऑफ सार्डिनिया एंड पीडमॉन्ट. रिजल्ट क्या होगा बताओ? कौन हार जाएगा इस वॉर में? ऑस्ट्रिया विल बी डिफीटेड. ये होता है डिप्लोमेसी. ओके, ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस विल केम इन सपोर्ट एंड नाउ द गब्बर सिंह, द मेन विलन, विल बी डिफीटेड. गब्बर सिंह हार गया. गब्बर सिंह हार गया. ठीक है, अब बताओ गब्बर सिंह के पास इटली की कौन कौन सी टेरिटरीज थी? ऑस्ट्रिया के पास इटली की कौन कौन सी टेरिटरीज थी? नॉर्थ में कौन सी टेरिटरी है? लॉम्बार्डी एंड वेनेशिया. ये दो टेरिटरी थी ना. ओके, नाउ ऑस्ट्रिया इज डिफीटेड. नाउ व्हाट सार्डिनिया पीडमॉन्ट विल डू? सार्डिनिया पीडमॉन्ट विल टेक लॉम्बार्डी. लॉम्बार्डी पे कब्जा कर लेगा, तुरंत कब्जा करेगा लॉम्बार्डी पे. सार्डिनिया पीडमॉन्ट विल टेक लॉम्बार्डी फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रिया. फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रिया सबसे पहले लॉम्बार्डी पे कब्जा किया, राइट? देन इट विल डू व्हाट? ओके, नाउ देयर आर सम अदर स्टेट्स इन नॉर्थ, पर्मा, मॉडेना एंड टस्कनी. ठीक है, so it will also annex these states which are Parma, Modena and Tuscany, क्योंकि इनके पीछे भी सपोर्ट ऑस्ट्रिया का ही था. ठीक है ना, तो इट विल ऑल्सो annex Parma, Modena and Tuscany. And what will happen? Plebiscite will be conducted here. Plebiscite will be conducted. Plebiscite, it means the opinion poll, that it will be asked from the people that आप किसके साथ जाना चाहते हैं. The people will say that we will be part of Italy, क्योंकि they are filled with the idea of nationalism ना. So Parma, Modena and Tuscany, right, they will also be taken by Sardinia Piedmont. Here plebiscite will be conducted and people voted, and the people voted, okay, for joining Italy. They were in the favor of unification of Italy. Now look at the map. Map को दोबारा से देखो. What happens here? Again, the story is very interesting. In northern part, which are the territories? Northern part में कौन कौन सी territories हैं? Okay, let's see these territories. Okay, northern part, what are the territories? Look at these territories. Northern part में क्या है? Lombardy, Venetia, Parma, Modena, Tuscany. यही तो है, यही है ना. Lombardy किसके पास आ गया? आ गया इसके पास. Parma, Modena, Tuscany आ गया. So unification of northern part is complete except one territory. And what is that? Venetia. Venetia छोड़ के नॉर्थ का सब कुछ मिल गया. Got it? Venetia क्यों नहीं मिला? थोड़ी देर बाद ब्रिटेन और फ्रांस को समझ में आया, यार ये तो इसने क्या किया, प्रोवोक किया ऑस्ट्रिया को और सारी टेरिटरीज पे कब्जा कर लिया. तो उन्होंने कहा भाई भाई बस अब करो, विनीशिया छोड़ दो. ठीक है, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं, इतना ही काफ़ी है तुम्हारे लिए. एंड दिस हैपेंस. देखो क्या होता है, whenever you will try to gain independence, so countries who are controlling you, those countries who have established authority over a subjugated nation, they will never think that the new nation should be powerful. कभी वो नहीं सोचेंगे. जैसे देखो, ब्रिटेन इंडिया पे रूल कर रहे थे और उनका अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या था कि जब इंडिया को इंडिपेंडेंस मिले तो इंडिया पावरफुल स्टेट ना बन के क्या बन जाए, वीकर स्टेट. एंड व्हेन इंडिया विल बी अ वीकर स्टेट, इट विल ऑल्सो ऑलवेज नीड हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट ऑफ ब्रिटेन. मेरी बात समझ गए? तो इन मॉडर्न इंडिया विल डिस्कस दिस. ये अप्रोच क्या है? द सेम इज हैपनिंग हियर. ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस ऑब्जेक्टेड. दे सेड दैट नो, इतना ही बहुत है, अब इससे ज़्यादा तुमको कब्जा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बहुत कब्जा कर लिए. ओके, नाउ दिस विल हैपन. नाउ व्हाट इज द स्टोरी हियर? ओके, यू कैन ड्रॉ द स्केच simply and you can write that the unification of northern part was complete. Read this. The unification of northern part was complete except one territory. It was complete except one territory. And what is that territory? This territory is Venetia. दिस टेरिटरी इज वेनिशिया। ठीक है, इसका मतलब अब इटली का मतलब क्या हो गया, सार्डिनिया प्लस पीडमोंट plus they have got what Lombardy also, plus they have got what Parma, Modena and Tuscany also. Now this much has been unified. इतना तो unify हो गया, right? And in northern part this is what papal states. In northern part only one territory is left, and that is what Venetia. Venetia. So only one territory is left in the northern part, that is Venetia. केवल एक territory बच गई जो कि क्या थी, Venetia. Got it? Now the next effort. Now इसके बाद क्या है, Cavour died, but he laid the foundation. उसने foreign policy की foundation तो रखी दी थी. Now the next important event, write this, is in the year 1866. Right, 1866. That is the next development. Next development in the year 1860. And this battle in history is famous by the known name of Battle of Sedoa. 1866 में एक बैटल हुआ, and this is what Battle of Sedoa. And this battle was fought between, read this, Battle of Sedoa was fought between Prussia and Austria. ये अच्छा देखो, प्रशा अभी पिक्चर में कहीं नहीं आया है, नहीं आया ना, जर्मनी में हम देखेंगे। जैसे देखो, सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट आर फाइटिंग फॉर द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली, इन द सेम वे प्रशा जो था ना, इट वाज लाइक फाइटिंग फॉर द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ जर्मनी। मेरी बात समझ गया? तो अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ प्रशा देयर वाज अ पैरेलल मूवमेंट, यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ जर्मनी, दैट इज द सेकंड चैप्टर। हियर अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट देयर इज अ मूवमेंट दैट इज यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली। तो वैसे ही एक कंट्री है प्रशा, राइट दिस प्रशा। Okay, so a short introduction of Prussia, you can write that there was a parallel movement, there was a parallel movement, and that is what unification of Germany. And here Prussia was leading, Prussia was leading the process of unification of Germany. This is a short introduction, that there was a parallel movement, that was unification of Germany. That is the second chapter. Parallel movement, that was the unification of Germany, and Prussia was leading that process. Prussia was leading the process of unification of Germany. अच्छा देखो, unification of Germany में भी main villain कौन है? Who is the main villain? वही है गब्बर सिंह, Austria, right? So here also main villain was वही है, Austria ही है. Main villain was Austria. Main villain was Austria. यूरोप का ताऊ था ये ऑस्ट्रिया उस समय, ठीक है, का बदलाव नहीं होने दूंगा. So main villain was Austria, right? So Prussia was fighting with Austria. Prussia किसके साथ फाइट कर रहा है? ऑस्ट्रिया के साथ. और सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट का स्टाइल बड़ा फेमस है, बताइए आपको, हेल्प करने आ गया भाई मैं. ओके, नाउ सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट विल कम, ओके, दैट भाई हेल्प करने आ गए, वी आर हियर टू हेल्प यू. प्रशा ने कहा भाई तुम घर जाओ, मैं देख लूंगा ऑस्ट्रिया को. प्रशा वॉज अ पावरफुल स्टेट, ठीक है, प्रशा अकेले हैंडल कर सकता था ऑस्ट्रिया को. नाउ सार्डिनिया एंड पीडमोंट विल अगेन कम एंड विल ऑफर हेल्प टू प्रशा. प्रशा विल से दैट गो होम, ठीक है, घर जाओ, आई एम थैंकफुल कि तुम आए हो मेरी हेल्प करने, बट ये बताओ तुम्हें चाहिए क्या, सीधा सीधा बता दो, इतना ड्रामा करने की जरूरत नहीं है, हेल्प करने की जरूरत नहीं है, जो चाहिए वो बता दो. क्या कहा सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट ने कि भाई यू आर फाइटिंग विथ ऑस्ट्रिया, और ऑस्ट्रिया के पास हमारी अभी एक टेरिटरी है जो अब तक अटकी हुई है, वो टेरिटरी कौन सी है? विनीशिया. प्रशा ने कहा ठीक है, ऑस्ट्रिया को हराता हूँ और विनीशिया तुमको बर्थडे गिफ्ट में दे दूंगा. कितनी आसानी से काम हो रहा है, देखते रहो. प्रशा फाइटिंग विथ ऑस्ट्रिया. नाउ व्हाट प्रशा विल डू? प्रशा विल डिफीट ऑस्ट्रिया. प्रशा विल डिफीट ऑस्ट्रिया. प्रशा ऑस्ट्रिया को डिफीट करेगा एंड विल टेक लॉम्बार्ड सॉरी विनीशिया फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रिया एंड विल गिफ्ट इट टू सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट. कितनी आसानी से मिल गया, ठीक है. तो नाउ प्रशा विल डिफीट ऑस्ट्रिया एंड इन दिस वे सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट विल गेट व्हाट? विनीशिया आल्सो. अब तो इसको क्या मिल गया? विनीशिया भी मिल गया, बिना लड़े मिल गया. प्रशा फाइटिंग विथ ऑस्ट्रिया, सार्डिनिया. इसलिए बड़े लोगों की हमेशा हेल्प करने में आगे रहनी चाहिए, ठीक है. पहुंच जाओ बिना जरूरत की, बोलो मैं तुम्हारी हेल्प करने आया हूँ, ठीक है. The same is happening here, right? Venetia. Got it? Now the unification of north part is complete or not? अब तो आपको पता है कि now this is the papal state, this is the papal state and north part में क्या हो गया? Lombardy. Now this Venetia, यहाँ पे Venetia भी मिल गया. This is the new addition. Parma, Modena, Tuscany ये ऑलरेडी है इनके पास. There is Sardinia, there is Piedmont. अब इतना कुछ हो गया इनके पास. Now this is the Italy. ये नया यूनिफाइड इटली हो गया. बट इतने से काम नहीं चलेगा, दिल मांगे मोर, और टेरिटरीज चाहिए इटली को. नाउ द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ नॉर्थ पार्ट इज कंप्लीट. नाउ दे वांट व्हाट? मोर टेरिटरीज. इनको क्या चाहिए? और भी ज्यादा टेरिटरी चाहिए. एंड हाउ दे विल गेट मोर टेरिटरी? द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, देखो इन द मैप द सदर्न स्टेट्स आर नोन एज व्हाट? सदर्न स्टेट्स का नाम क्या है? देखो फिर से एक बार मैं मैप डिस्प्ले करता हूँ. दिस येलो कलर्ड टेरिटरीज आर द सदर्न स्टेट्स ना, यही तो है येलो कलर्ड टेरिटरीज. किंगडम ऑफ टू सिटीज. ओके, तो हियर कम्स द रोल ऑफ अ रिवॉल्यूशनरी गैरिबाल्डी. जैसे सुभाष चंद्र बोस ने इंडिया में एक मूवमेंट किया था, आईएनए मूवमेंट, मणिपुर कैंपेन, इम्फाल कैंपेन, पढ़ा होगा आपने मॉडर्न इंडिया में, वैसा ही कैंपेन था. ये अलग बात है कि आईएनए का मूवमेंट फेल हो गया, बट हियर व्हाट विल हैपन? द मूवमेंट ऑफ गैरिबाल्डी विल नॉट फेल. और सुभाष चंद्र बोस को ये टॉपिक पता था. उन्होंने कहा भाई इटली में गैरिबाल्डी ने जो काम किया था वही काम मैं इंडिया में करूंगा, जापानीज की हेल्प लेके नॉर्थ ईस्ट से, मणिपुर से, इम्फाल से एंटर करूंगा, अंग्रेजों को बाहर कर दूंगा. गॉट इट? द सेम प्लान वाज फॉलोड बाय सुभाष चंद्र बोस इन इंडिया. व्हाट गैरिबाल्डी डू? गैरिबाल्डी के बारे में बता चुका हूं. ही वाज अ रिवॉल्यूशनरी एंड गैरिबाल्डी विल डू व्हाट? एक्सपेडिशन ऑफ 1000 सोल्जर्स को लेके घुस जाएगा कहा? सदर्न स्टेट में, किंगडम ऑफ टू सिटीज में. The soldiers are only 1000, but the people who are living in the kingdom of two Sicilies were filled with what? The idea of nationalism. उनके दिमाग में भरा था कि कहाँ जाना है? इटली के साथ जाना है, यूनिफाइड इटली चाहिए, वन इटली चाहिए, फ्री इटली चाहिए. तो 1000 सोल्जर बाहर से लेके आए और किंगडम ऑफ टू सिटीज में रहने वाले लोगों ने क्या किया? उन सोल्जर्स का साथ दे दिया. तो क्या होगा? Kingdom of two Sicilies will become part of Italy by this revolutionary act. वही चीज तो सुभाष चंद्र बोस ने इंप्लीमेंट करनी चाहिए इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में, कि वी विल मेक एन आर्मी, ओके, एंड दिस आर्मी विल इंटर इंडिया एंड इंडियंस आर फिल्ड विथ नेशनलिस्ट स्पिरिट. लोगों को पता चलेगा सुभाष चंद्र बोस आर्मी लेके आ रहे हैं, बस लोग हमें ज्वाइन करेंगे, फिर हम अंग्रेजों को भगा देंगे. लेकिन इंडियन लोग हैं ही स्वभाव से सुस्त. मालूम उनको 6 महीने बाद चला कि सुभाष चंद्र बोस इधर से आर्मी लेके आ रहे थे. मेरी बात समझ गए? ठीक है, तो प्लान तो वही था. दैट्स व्हाई दिस टॉपिक इज इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली एंड जर्मनी विल हैव एन इम्पैक्ट ऑन द रिवॉल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटीज इन इंडिया. जब नेशनल मूवमेंट पढ़ो तो घटनाओं को, इवेंट्स को जोड़ के देखने की कोशिश करो. गॉट इट? तो राइट दिस पॉइंट दैट द टास्क ऑफ यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ southern state, that is kingdom of two Sicilies, write this point. The task of unification of southern state, that is kingdom of two Sicilies, southern state, the kingdom of two Sicilies was completed, okay, through revolutionary activities or by a revolutionary act of Garibaldi. It was completed by a revolutionary act of Garibaldi. It was completed by a revolutionary act of Garibaldi. Okay, I have already written this name here, Garibaldi. So it was completed with the revolutionary act of Garibaldi. ठीक है, ये कैसे कंप्लीट हो गया? It was completed with the help of revolutionary act of Garibaldi. Got it? It was completed with the help of revolutionary. I have written here this name, Garibaldi. Read this. Garibaldi initiated a military expedition in the south. Garibaldi initiated a military expedition in the south. That is famously known as Expedition of 1000. That is famously known as Expedition of 1000. बता चुका हूँ what is the meaning of Expedition of 1000. That is famously known as Expedition of 1000. Expedition of 1000. ठीक है, Garibaldi did what? Expedition of 1000. ब्रैकेट में कहीं लिख लेना हिंट इंडियन नेशनल मूवमेंट सुभाष चंद्र बोस INA, स्टोरी को रिलेट करना सीखो, राइट? दैट इज एक्सपेडिशन ऑफ 1000. एंड व्हाट हैपेंड? राइट दिस. The people helped and supported Garibaldi forces. The people helped and supported Garibaldi forces, and in this way, the people helped and supported Garibaldi forces, and in this way, the people helped and supported Garibaldi forces, and in this way, the kingdom of two Sicilies became part of Italy. In this way, the kingdom of two Sicilies became the part of Italy. कितना आसान है? In this way, kingdom of two Sicilies became the part of Italy. Now the task of unification of northern states was complete. The task of unification of south was complete, but the most challenging task was not complete. And what is the most challenging task? Papal states. Papal states को छूने का मतलब था फ्रांस से लड़ना. मेरी बात समझ गया? So that is the most challenging task. Now we need to understand. Okay, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा इसमें. It will complete very soon. So we'll finish this topic. Okay. Now what we see is that the task of unification of northern state was complete. The task of unification of southern state was complete, but the task of unification of papal state, which was the most challenging, the task of unification of papal states, which was the most challenging, was not complete. ये task complete नहीं था. Now we need to understand that how this task will be completed. Got it? This task was not complete. Okay. Now, how this task will be completed? Very interesting. So write this: the war in 1870-71. यहाँ पे भी लड़ाई दूसरे की हो रही है. ठीक है. Right? 1870-71. Here there was war between, ये बताऊंगा जर्मनी के यूनिफिकेशन में ये इवेंट आप समझोगे. There was war between France and Prussia. इस बार किसके किसके बीच में लड़ाई चल रही है? फ्रांस एंड प्रशा. Now why what Italy will do? This is very interesting. फ्रांस एंड प्रशा. प्रशा भी दोस्त है. प्रशा ने तो बर्थडे गिफ्ट दिया था वेनिशिया. फ्रांस भी दोस्त है. अच्छा, अगर पेपल स्टेट्स में इंटरफेयर करोगे तो कौन इंटरफेयर कर देगा? Who will come to intervene? France. Now what will happen? Okay, Italy will, okay, do what? Italy will take advantage of this situation. It means both these forces are involved in war. Both these forces are involved in war. दोनों war में involved. और ग्रेट ब्रिटेन बिजी इन ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स. जब तक जरूरी ना हो, ग्रेट ब्रिटेन अपने आप को किसी भी पचड़े में फंसाता नहीं है. ग्रेट ब्रिटेन बिजी इन ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स. ये दोनों लड़ रहा है. नाउ व्हाट इटली विल डू? इटली विल डेलिबरेटली क्रिएट सम डिस्टर्बेंसेस इन पेपल स्टेट्स. जैसे बांग्लादेश में कहा शेख हसीना ने कि यूएस ने करवाया है, वैसा ही कुछ. ठीक है ना? तो इटली विल डेलिबरेटली डू व्हाट? इटली विल डेलिबरेटली, राइट दिस, डेलिबरेटली, जानबूझकर, Italy will deliberately create some disturbances, or you can say that law and order challenges in papal states. खुद ही करवाएगा. ठीक है? Italy will deliberately create some disturbances and law and order challenge in papal state. ठीक है? जानबूझ के कॉन्स्पिरेसी, खुद ही करवा दिया प्रॉब्लम. And now Italy क्या करेगा? Will ask France भाई, ओके, पेपल स्टेट में प्रॉब्लम है, वहां तुम्हारा प्यारा पोप बैठा हुआ है, क्या करें? आप तो बिजी हो वॉर में, तो आप हमें अलाउ करो, हम प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर देते हैं जाकर. ओके, अलाउ अस टू इंटर एंड सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम. देखो कितना स्मार्ट है. इटली डेलिबरेटली क्रिएटेड सम प्रॉब्लम्स इन द पेपल स्टेट्स एंड नाउ इटली विल आस्क द परमिशन ऑफ फ्रांस दैट अलाउ मी टू इंटर इनटू द पेपल स्टेट एंड सॉल्व द चैलेंज. यू आर बिजी इन वॉर, I will take care of the responsibility. I will take care of these challenges. मैं हैंडल कर लूंगा. फ्रांस ने कहा ठीक है, हैंडल कर लो. Now what will happen? The forces of Italy, Italian forces will enter papal states in the name of solving those disturbances, and they have already got what? Permission of France. France ने permission भी दे दिया. the forces will enter into the papal states. And what about the people who are living in these papal states? Papal states में जो लोग रह रहे थे, they were favoring or supporting what? Process of unification of Italy. तो जैसे ही इटली की आर्मी सार्डिनिया पीडमोंट की आर्मी एंटर करेगी, द पीपल विल कम इन सपोर्ट ऑफ दैट आर्मी. और क्या करेगा? इटली will establish political control. तुरंत political control establish करेगा. Now Italy established political control over papal states, taking advantage of this situation. ठीक है? But Italy was knowing that it has challenged the authority of Pope. ठीक है? So again a very smart move. What Italy will do? Italy will select a definite area, a small area, okay, from these papal states region, and it will say that this will be served as an independent country or the nation. दुनिया का सबसे छोटा देश कौन सा है? वेटिकन सिटी. और आज भी उस वेटिकन सिटी का रूलर कौन है? पोप है. तो कहा पोप भाई इतना बड़ा टेरिटरी लेके आपको रूल करने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्या करना है? ये रहा आपका वेटिकन सिटी, इसको बना देते हैं क्या हम? वेटिकन सिटी. ठीक है? एंड नाउ हियर इंडिपेंडेंट अथॉरिटी एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ पोप विल बी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड. प्रॉब्लम भी सॉल्व कर दिया. ओके, that we have recognized the authority of Pope. Okay, a separate territory, a small territory will be carved out from this papal state, and that will be recognized as a independent nation, Vatican City, which will be under the control and influence of Pope. In this way, Italy completed its task of. ठीक है, फ्रांस थोड़ा नाराज होगा बट फिर वो मना लेगा फ्रांस को, right? So in this way, what we see is that this war was fought in the year 1870-71 and this battle is known as Battle of Sedan. जर्मनी वाले टॉपिक में ये डिटेल में आपको मैं बताऊंगा. This war is known as Battle of Sedan. So Battle of Sedan did what? Completed the process of task of unification of Italy. ठीक है, ये लड़ाई हुई थी फ्रांस और प्रशा के बीच में, but it completed the process of task of unification of Italy. So what we see here is that in 1871, the task of unification of Italy was completed. The task of unification of Italy was completed. Right? Is it clear? Now Italy means what? Sardinia plus Piedmont. Now Italy means what? Lombardy plus Venetia. Now Italy means what? Parma plus Modena plus Tuscany. Now Italy means what? Papal states. Now Italy means what? Kingdom of two Sicilies. This is what? Italy. So what we see that in the year 1870-71, the birth of a new nation on the political map of Europe. And that is one of the most significant event of 19th century. Syllabus has mentioned important events of 19th century. This is one of the most significant events of 19th century. And this event shows what? Growth of nationalism in Europe. Syllabus में आपके क्या mention है? Growth of nationalism पढ़ना है. बिना पढ़े कैसे पढ़ पाओगे? Without reading Unification of Italy. Okay, the syllabus has mentioned what? Growth of nationalism. In next class, I will discuss unification of Germany. Then we will discuss a topic, what is nationalism again? The nationalism, okay, in the world at that time and the concept of nationalism which we are debating in our present day society. We will discuss कि आज के context में nationalism का मतलब क्या है? Nationalism, secularism, multiculturalism, how all these ideas are interacted with each other. So after finishing this topic, Germany, I will take an independent lecture on nationalism, okay, in Europe at that time, nationalism during the national movement, and nationalism today. We will discuss all this. Clear? I hope this lecture will help you in building that concept. Concept कुछ बना? यूरोप में नेशनलिज्म कैसे आया? अब देखो, आपको और कुछ एक इवेंट्स बताऊंगा अगली क्लास में, फिर पूरी स्टोरी से हम क्या करेंगे? फिल्टर करेंगे एसेंस को, इंफॉर्मेशन को, और वो जो फिल्टर निकलेगा वही आपके एग्जाम के लिए क्या है? जरूरी. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? तो वो फिल्टर, वो एसेंस ऐसे नहीं समझ सकते. ऐसे अगर रट्टा मारोगे तो फिर भूलोगे, आप चीज़ों को समझ नहीं पाओगे. तो आई होप यू आर गेटिंग माई पॉइंट, व्हाट आई मीन टू से. ओके, Here I have just skipped some of the you can say that detailed explanation of some of the topics because that was not needed. जैसे क्रीमिया वॉर है, ऑप्शनल स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ना है, ठीक है, तो कई ऐसी चीजें हैं जो इन डिटेल ऑप्शनल स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़नी है, so that I have deliberately skipped, right? So we'll continue with the next topic. The next that will be the unification of Germany. Okay, is there any question, any doubt, any one of you? No? Thanks to all of you. Welcome.